up, everyone? Today we're gonna go for a ride on a new bike that I just built up. Today I am out for a ride. I want to tell a little story. So the other day I was looking on the classifieds, as I always do, and something caught my eye. It was a Salsa Mukluk frame, this year's model. Sorry, I got a little fog going on here. This year's model, someone had bought and just completely stripped for parts. Never ridden. Gotta take those off. I thought, well, that's interesting. So I reached out, went and checked it out, ended up buying it. My original thought was to bring it home, take the fork from it, and sell the frame. And I could basically get close to breaking even, and I would have a brand new rigid fork for my fat bike. So got it home, took some pictures, listed it, and as I was doing that, I was looking around and I realized I have a lot of parts. You know, I could potentially build up a whole second fat bike basically for not a whole lot more. So I started putting things together, and that's what I've got now. So now here is my Salsa Mukluk. I am not much into this. I am just over 600 bucks into this bike. One thing to think of is these wheels will go back onto my Mayer once I have that set up for winter. But for now, I basically have a second bike. I'm out for my first ride on it. It is a medium, which is kind of a bummer. I always ride a large. Salsa does say this is good for 5'9" up to 6 feet. Seems a little small for a 6-foot person. I'm just shy of 5'11", and I wouldn't want it any smaller. But, you know, it works. And then I've got some of these random components on it. This is just a Dior 10-speed derailleur with a 11 to 36 tooth cassette. This crank and elliptical chainring, which is a 28 tooth, I got for 50 bucks with the bottom bracket. So good deal there. And then I had this carbon seat post from Framed. This seat is just a cheap one that I thought, you know, many people would like. Had the bars and stem. You might recognize these brakes right here if you watch Burn Peak. Seth just was upgrading a Walmart bike to see how good it could be, and he bought some very similar to these on Amazon. These are the 4-piston version, and so far I've only ridden uphill, so I haven't gotten to use them yet. But I'll have a full review on these. I'm not going to say anything about them. They sent them to me to try out, so I'm not going to say anything until, you know, I've really given them a try. But grateful for that, and that kind of helped to round out my build on top of the wheels from my fat bike. So let's get riding. Pretty excited to have a full rigid fat bike in my stable again, and a Mukluk at that. That's actually what got me back into biking in the first place. Was after I was commuting a lot during school, testing these brakes out, they're not seated, so it's kind of interesting. But what happened was I had a little cross-country mountain bike, but I didn't love it because I felt really limited in the winter. I ended up with a 2016 Mukluk, and this is just the latest version, and it's so nice to be back on it. I think what made me love them so much is just it's super simple. You just got no suspension, big tires that you can use all year. Doesn't matter the trail surface. Even this is pretty sandy and loose. I'll ride 29 plus up here a lot, and it does great, but it's amazing. I'm like not sinking at all on this stuff. So nice to be on a fat bike for that. Definitely went the wrong way for a second. Gotta backtrack. The Mukluk isn't a super aggressive geometry. In fact, it's pretty much the opposite of that. It's a 69-degree head tube angle, 73-degree seat stays, really long chain stays. I think the shortest mode is 440. It doesn't have a really long reach or anything. Stack is taller, which is good. It's built more for exploring. Man, I'm liking this elliptical chainring. The oval, it's pretty cool. Part of the reason I wanted it though was because as fun as it is to ride alone, and I say that only partially sarcastically, I really enjoy rides by myself, but I would love to have people go with me and experience riding in the snow, especially like my wife. So I think she'll be able to fit onto this. She's, you know, like 5'2", 5'3", so definitely out of their recommended range, but I think with the seat slammed, she should fit fine. That does mean though that I'm gonna go up above my $600 range on this because I don't have another fat wheel set. The only reason I'm able to do this is because I have a summer and a winter wheel set for my main fat bike. Luckily, we won't have snow, real snow that is, for a couple months at least. So I'll get her out here, just seeing what the bike is like. Then when the snow falls, we can try that out. I just reached for a dropper. I forgot. I don't have one. I have the exact opposite, a rigid carbon seat post. That aside though, I don't know what the deal is. I'm feeling really good. I'm sure I'm not going that fast. It probably just feels faster because the tires are so loud. But yeah, I changed too many things at once, so I don't know what's actually making the difference. You know, I'm on a rigid bike instead of a hardtail, have fat tires, have an elliptical chainring, so I don't know. I am liking the elliptical though. It feels super natural. I didn't even notice, but it just felt good. So I'm gonna have to jump on with the normal round one, see how that feels. I guess I don't know if it's called an elliptical. I feel like elliptical is maybe the outdated term. People call it oval now. I feel like this trail is totally out of the comfort zone of this bike, but let's go for it. Especially without a dropper. This could be interesting. Gotta get back to my roots. Whew. Whew. Definitely feel there's no suspension. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it up this. Never have. Oh, wait. Maybe. No, I can't make that right now. That is steep. If I was going to though, it'd probably be on a fat bike. Now that I've ridden with a dropper post for so long, I do appreciate quick release seat collars. I hate having to pull a tool out just to drop and raise this. So I'm not going to. Oh yeah. Oh. Wow, it feels sketchy. Feel like you're about to go over the front. Have the tire pressure too high for sure. Which makes a huge difference in a fat bike. Ugh. Just wait for the trail to put you where it wants you, I guess. Okay. Ooh, pedal strike. Oh, made it up. That's great. Great. Okay, this is steep as well. Oh, goodness. Wrong gear. Couldn't engage it all to make this sharp turn. Okay. I'm gonna let a tad bit of air out. Okay, there's a super janky little rock garden up here. I almost never make it through right. So let's see if I can take the slow approach and pick my way through. I don't know which way to go. Let's evaluate. That was the wrong way. It's not that big of a deal on a full suspension or even a hardtail. You have to be careful though, because it's big boulders. It's a little awkward. I guess if I went here, there's just no real good line. Is this a line? Oh, no, kind of. I guess right there. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Oh, nope, no cigar. Yeah, well, I'll try it another time. It's maiden voyage. I don't want to destroy it. Woo. Well, all of those good feelings are gone. Not really, but man, I think it was just because I was riding just stuff like this, which is not technical or anything. Interestingly though, I've said this before, I think I'd rather have a dropper post than a suspension fork. I think it helps more. It's only though if you use a dropper post right. If you're not really sure when to use it, or you're not using proper technique, then yeah, suspension fork will make a big difference because it just kind of works for the most part. But it's amazing how much of a difference having your seat out of the way makes. See, this is where the Mukluk's really at home with its geometry. Just imagine you're loaded up, probably not going this fast, but you know, you might be. Just cruising along. This bike is meant for exploring. So, this real tame stuff, it just feels really good on. Got one more little downhill trail before the end. This has been really good though for me to remember what it's like, one, to ride fat tires in the dirt. This is like the first summer in probably 4 years that I haven't done that, but also it's a good reminder of how much geometry affects things. So, normally I can just fly down these trails. It's really a shot to your confidence. You have to change totally how you're riding. Ooh, I got my pinky pretty good. Doesn't help, I definitely have the tires too high. I let some air out, but probably let more out. They kept going flat pretty quickly, so I put some new sealant in and pumped them up a little higher to try and seal things, and I forgot. Man, it's torn up. Oh, these are the worst. That suspension was like brake bumping whoops are horrible. Even a front fork helps a lot. I need to loosen up though. Get loosey goosey. You know, that is one thing though. Fat tires have saved me a lot, because when you lose control a little bit, or you pick a bad line and things get kind of weird, the tires maintain traction. Instead of like digging in and, you know, maybe washing out easily, they don't. It keeps you upright. I think it's also maybe because the bike's smaller, so definitely a little more front heavy, I guess you could say. So as soon as it's steep, it feels awkward. It feels like I'm going forward. Whew, but we'll finish out with a nice flow section. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this first ride. Watch out for more of my videos of this bike, especially the brakes. And I'll let you know how I long-term feel about the oval chainring. Thanks for watching. See you next time.